Guys, my name is Garrison Gandy, and this is my first official YouTube video that I'm ever posting. I've decided to make a new channel that consists of NFL previews each and every week, and I'm going to dive into fantasy advice, betting advice, the matchups itself. I'll go over that. I'll go over, whether you should go for the over and under or, or taking the points. I wanted to go ahead and do this for week 3. And also my channel is going to have, a splash of, social issues, about what's going on in the world. Sometimes politics. I don't usually like to get into politics that much, but I will add that in sometimes. I find myself criticizing our leaders a lot, so there could be some videos about that sooner or later. But I wanted to go ahead and create this channel because football's back, baby. And that is, that's all I can ask for. I feel like football season is, I'm definitely the most happy. And as you guys will, learn, I am on a current journey of finishing up graduate school while working full time at Texas Motor Speedway, selling tickets. So I have a lot on my plate, and I wanted to make this channel because I want you guys to have a good idea of what's coming in the week of football, because I love talking about football. That's what I've loved to do since I was little. I always used to cry at Texas games, when we're losing to OU and everything like that. So football means a lot to me, and it's why I'm about to, on the journey I am about, becoming an NFL agent, finishing up my master's and everything at Florida. It's definitely been challenging, but let's go ahead and dive into this week's matchups. Let's start with tonight's matchup. Carolina 2-0 versus Houston 1-1 at home. There's some key injuries in this game. Tyrod Taylor got hurt last week against the Browns. This is the quarterback for the Houston Texans, and he had a pretty impressive week 1 showing. I feel like he definitely exceeded expectations, I feel like, that first week. So that is a big loss. So they'll be starting a rookie behind center. Deshaun Watson, as you guys probably will know, he's not going to be playing this year. That situation is crazy to me. It's ridiculous. I definitely would do the same thing if I were the Texans management. I would definitely not play him because we don't know what's going to happen until, the trial in January for, all the sexual assault cases. So we're not going to see Deshaun. Unfortunately, he's a great player, but we're just not going to see him. So they're starting Davis Mills, and I'll be honest, I don't know much about him. He was definitely a prospect that went under the radar for sure. So we're kind of in wait and see mode with him. I'm not sure what he's good at. I honestly have not looked into him at all. I haven't seen any of his film. But there are some other injuries on the Houston side of the ball that are noteworthy. Justin Reed is questionable with a knee. We have Danny Amendola out with a thigh injury. And obviously Deshaun Watson. On the Carolina side, Gross-Matos is out with an ankle injury. And right now, the spread is at 8.5, Carolina. Honestly, and I'll start off with betting advice because, betting's really fun, and I know that's something that you guys will be looking forward to. I definitely would take the points for Houston on this one. I feel like this game tonight is going to be, I think it's going to be very close, probably within a field goal. I would have to say, because I feel like the Texans are definitely surprising. They still have some weapons on offense. They have a three-headed monster at running back. They have Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, and DJ, go DJ, that's my DJ, Johnson, who used to actually be called DJ Fantasy Points. That was about 4 years ago. But, he is still productive when he's on the field. So they have that. They have Brandon Cooks still at wide receiver. So they do have some weapons there. And it's at home. It's at NRG. So I definitely would take the points there. I feel like that's a very generous spread. So I would predict a score around 27-24. Carolina definitely vastly improved. Sam Darnold is improving each week, I feel like. I just feel like he needed to get out from under the Jets organization. That organization is a freaking dumpster fire. And I really feel bad for Zach Wilson, by the way. That's just not going to be a great situation for him. I feel as though he might be in the worst situation of the five rookie quarterbacks that were drafted. I feel like he's going to end up in the worst situation. But Carolina, they have a great front seven. They know what they're doing. Matt Rule knows what he's doing. He has turned around every program that he's been to. You go back to Temple, he turned that around in 2 years. You go back to Baylor, he turned that around in 2 years. It's a path, and it's happening with the Panthers as well. They were awful the year before, and then they went, I believe they went 8-8 last year. So that's kind of on par with his trajectory with programs. So really like what they're doing. They hired on Joe Brady from LSU, passing coordinator. He's electric. Obviously, it's made a really good impact with Sam Darnold. He's not playing as reckless as he did. But that's what happens when you have good players around you. You don't have to play as reckless. Just get the ball in their hands and let that magic happen. So I'm going to predict Carolina winning this game by 3. But fantasy advice, I definitely would not start Robbie Anderson, a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. I definitely have been frustrated with him in fantasy these past couple weeks. I would not start him unless it's a 2-flex league. I'd still start Brandon Cooks. Obviously tonight I'd start DJ Moore, obviously, for the Carolina Panthers. I would start, you have to start McCaffrey. That should go without saying. I would actually start Sam Darnold if you are in a 2-quarterback league. Definitely not 1. That's pushing it way too much. But those are kind of my notes for this game tonight. And diving into Sunday's games, let's go with the Bears and the Browns. Okay, so this one is going to be one of the more intriguing games of the weekend. And the reason why is because Andy Dalton, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, is out with a knee injury. That means that highly touted quarterback Justin Fields from Ohio State will be making his first career NFL start. And I couldn't be more excited. I've been a big believer in Fields, ever since high school, really. I've watched QB1 on Netflix, and I'm a big believer in him. He's 6'3". He's stout. He's 240 pounds. He runs probably a 4.6 flat, give or take. But the guy's an athlete. He can move, but the thing I like about him is he only runs when he has to, or it's a design play. And Coach Matt Nagy knows that he can run. So, obviously there will be some, design running plays for him. But in regards to staying in the pocket, he will stay in the pocket. He will deliver throws, even though he's going to get hit. That's what I love that about quarterbacks who can stand in there, take a hit under the chin and deliver the ball with accuracy. That's something that he can do. There's actually no other injuries other than Dalton in this game, which is kind of weird. But the spread is 7 points for Cleveland. I would definitely take the points on this one for Chicago. I believe that Cleveland's defense is not at the point where it wants to be right now. They have 7 new starters on defense. I was watching the Herd, Colin Cowherd's show on FS1 earlier today, and he made a good point about Cleveland retooling their defense. They have 7 new starters, so it's going to be a great defense. They have Myles Garrett. They have a lot of good players. They have a lot of good corners. Secondary is great, but they need to fix the linebacker situation. They're going to be good, but just not right now. They'll be good probably mid-October, but not right now. This is too early. So I would definitely take the points on this one for Chicago. And in terms of fantasy advice, you're definitely starting Allen Robinson. You're starting David Montgomery, even though Cleveland is stout against the run. You're starting him. That's a no-brainer. I definitely would not start Darnell Mooney. I don't believe he has much rapport with Fields yet. I believe that'd have to go to Allen Robinson. Robinson is probably a top 12 receiver, I would say, in the league. So you can definitely bank on getting points from him for sure. He's not going to get shut down completely. Cleveland, I definitely would start Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. They have a great tandem going on there. I am hesitant about starting Baker though, and even in a 2-quarterback league, I'm very hesitant to do that. Only because I don't believe in his athleticism. I don't believe he can get away from the Khalil Macks of the world. I do not believe that to be true. I don't think that he can get away from those guys. And Baker thrives when everything is on schedule. As we saw at OU, I went to UT, so I saw Baker play. Saw Baker play a couple times, and hit people. There's kind of a misconception about him. I feel like in college, he had a crazy team. Look, he had weapons galore. He had CeeDee Lamb, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Joe Mixon. The list goes on. Like he was loaded every year. And I feel like there's a misconception that he threw better on the run. He's a scrambler. That's not true in the NFL because there are defensive ends that run way faster than him in the 40. He's not going to get away with that. So everything has to go on schedule for him. The blocking has to be there. The play action has to be there. They have to be biting. The linebackers have to be biting. But Chicago has, I watched their game last week. They picked off Joe Burrow like 3 or 4 times. And three of them were, I think they're consecutive drives. And they weren't bad throws either. They weren't awful throws. They just made great plays. They tipped the ball on a couple of them and made the interception, had a pick six for them. So I just don't think that, especially with the Jarvis Landry injury. I'm sorry, I completely forgot about Jarvis Landry on the injury front. Not having him it's a huge deal. That's a huge deal for Baker, and especially not having OBJ. I just don't think he can get this job done. I actually think that the Bears are going to win outright. I definitely understand if you want to take the points. The Bears are not a great team. There's definitely some pieces that they need. But I am going with the upset on this one, even though it is at Cleveland. So for the next game, I'm going to dive into Bengals-Steelers. And I was very surprised, actually, to see the spread on this. It's 3 for Pittsburgh. 3 for Pittsburgh to win. And I'm not a believer in the Bengals yet. I'm not sure if it's Burrow or their defense, which I feel like they just have been a bottom feeder for a while, and I don't know what it's going to take, because they do have talented players. They drafted Jamar Chase out of LSU. Obviously, him and Burrow have the chemistry from LSU. They had great years when they were on the field together, and so far it's been a pretty good connection fantasy-wise. So I definitely start Jamar Chase in your flex. But I'm not comfortable with Burrow yet. It's partially because of the injury. I feel like he's kind of holding back a little bit. And I just don't believe in their coaching necessarily yet. Marvin Lewis was a great coach, and he got let go. I think that was still a mistake for sure. Pittsburgh has started out very sluggish, and I feel like a lot of that's due to Ben Roethlisberger. I feel like Ben Roethlisberger is holding this team back, plain and simple, because they have 3 great receivers in Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and Juju Smith-Schuster. And they have a crazy good running back. Alabama running backs tend to work out in the league. See Mark Ingram, see Derrick Henry. Najee Harris, great back, catches the ball. So you're just sitting there wondering, watching the Steelers, and just like, wow, what is the deal? You have a great defense, TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, you name it. And then it's not working right now. It's not working right now. And I feel like a lot of that is due to Big Ben. He's just not what he was. He's old. He's not Tom Brady. And he's on the Drew Brees route. Pretty much he's on the Drew Brees route. So I would definitely, in terms of the spread, I would go with the Steelers on this one. I feel like they're a better team, just straight up. So that's where I'd go with that. Fantasy advice: you're definitely starting Mixon. You're starting Chase in the flex. You're starting T. Higgins for sure. And that's about it. I feel like the rest are kind of iffy. Boyd is a little iffy. So in terms of Pittsburgh, you're definitely starting the 3 receivers, Deontay, Juju, and Chase. You're starting them for sure. That's a no-brainer. You're starting Najee. He's, his average ADP, average draft position. That was pretty high. So you invested probably second-round pick in him. So you're starting him. And I feel like you're starting the Pittsburgh D if you have them as well. But definitely going Pittsburgh with this one. All right, on to the next game. Cardinals Jaguars. So the spread is at 7.5 for Arizona, and it's in Jacksonville. I just, first looking at this game, I'm just like, this just smells of a blowout. Like, and this just smells of a blowout. Like, just Arizona, one of the hottest teams in the league. Kyler Murray he's opened up probably his MVP favorite. He's making those routine throws. You know, we all know that he can do spectacular stuff. I was at the UTOU game when he ran for like 90 yards and just outran the whole secondary. I'm just like watching this. I'm just like, wow, like this kid is, woo. And like I know growing up, you know, around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you know, I went to a couple of his games at Allen, their powerhouse. The kid's a winner. You know, he did not lose in high school. Like, that is crazy to me. He's a winner. He's a gamer. I believe in him. I believe in their weapons. Definitely with fantasy, my sleeper pick this week is Rondale Moore, wide receiver for the Cardinals. I've been praising this man ever since he was at Purdue. Sure went to Texas, but he went to Purdue. But he is a burner. He can catch. He's great in the slot. So Arizona's loaded on offense. Other than running back, they're loaded. The receiving core: Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, AJ Green. Definitely is going to be a sleeper pick up for sure for them. Jacksonville, in terms of stardoms, you go James Robinson. The volume's going to be there. You're going to start Laviska Shenault. I feel like you should not start DJ Chark or Marvin Jones. I feel like this offense is so volatile right now. Trevor Lawrence under center, rookie quarterback, is trying to find his way. Shenault is good over the middle, and DJ Chark, Martin Jones, deep threats. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. I drafted DJ Chark, and I'm just not happy with it right now. So I could be a little biased on that, but I just do not like what I'm seeing from that offense at all. So prayers up if you have any Jacksonville players in your roster. Definitely gonna go with Arizona here. I would not take the points with Jacksonville. I just am not confident in them at all, even at home. 94% of the bets are for Arizona so far, money line. So this is a David and Goliath matchup. So there's not much else to say about that. On to the next game, Chargers and Chiefs. Now this is a great matchup. The spread's at 6.5 for KC. I honestly will take the points for the Chargers. That is because I am a huge believer in Justin Herbert. The kid is, man, he's as prototypical as it gets. Like, he's basically has the body type of Peyton Manning, but like the speed of, let's say a Russell Wilson. I thought they're around the same speed. So it can't get more perfect than that. He's a 6'6", he's 6'6", 230, rocket arm, and he honestly tore apart my Cowboys defense last week, other than the interceptions and the penalties that happened. Ridiculous. I don't know how we won that game, but they were moving the ball down the field. I can tell that. The Cowboys got a few timely interceptions. Shout out Trayvon Diggs, of course. That's my guy. But, man, this kid's special. And I feel like they can cover these points. KC coming off a close loss to Baltimore. Obviously, injuries looking pretty good on both sides. Not much to say about that. But this will be a great matchup. And I would take the points on that. Stardoms, you're starting Herbert. I have him in a league. You're starting Keenan Allen. You're starting Austin Eckler. I wouldn't bank on Jared Cook this week. KC is very good against tight ends. Daniel Sorensen, is a monster against tight ends. So I would not start Jared Cook automatically this week. KC, obviously you're starting Mahomes. I'm going against him this week, so prayers up for me. You're starting Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even though he had that bad fumble last week. You're starting him. You probably invest a high pick in him somewhere around the fourth round. You're starting Tyreek Hill, starting Kelsey. I would actually start McCole Hardman this week. The reason being is because Asante Samuel Jr. will be on Tyreek Hill for a majority of the game. And McCole is, ever since Sammy Watkins left for the Ravens, he has gotten a huge role. And he's a burner as well. I've definitely hyped him up. I have him on my team. I've started him. Haven't got the results yet, but I feel like there's a breakout coming. I feel like it could be this week. So I'm taking the points on this one, again, for the Chargers. But I feel like it's going to be a shootout for sure. The Chiefs have a good defense. They have, a few good players. They don't have an elite defense. They just gave up 36 points to the Ravens, excuse me. So it's not a lockdown defense by any means. All right. And next game is the Colts and the Titans. And this is in Nashville. The line is at 5 for Tennessee right now. So for this game, I would actually go Tennessee on this one with the spread. I do not feel great about Indianapolis right now, and a lot of that's to do with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has been having ankle problems, and that's what happens when you try to outrun Aaron Donald last week. But I just do not feel good about the Colts right now. I feel like their season is imploding before our eyes. I only feel good in fantasy with Jonathan Taylor. I don't believe in the Colts receivers right now. Even Pittman, I like Pittman a lot. I don't believe in him mainly because of the quarterback situation. He might be going with Dick Eason, who I'm not a big believer in right now as well. But I would start the Indianapolis defense only because they're just loaded on that side of the ball. So I would definitely start them. Tennessee, a lot more guys starting Tannehill, even in a one quarterback league. He is shown to be a borderline elite quarterback. You're obviously starting King Derrick Henry. My goodness, he went off last week, and expect that to continue this week. I'm starting Julio. I'm starting A.J. Brown as well. But that's where I'm kind of drawing the line there because Tannehill seems to be zoning in on those two guys. So not much else to say about this matchup. Definitely take the Titans with the spread. It's going to be good weather, good throwing weather. But I don't expect the Colts to throw well. I expect the Titans to throw well. And next game is the Falcons and the Giants. This is at MetLife. The spread is actually 3 in favor of the Giants, which is very surprising. So in that case, I'm definitely taking the points for the Falcons. Absolutely. 69% of bets are going towards that outcome. So definitely go with the Falcons on this one. It's a no-brainer. Definitely place your bet right now if you can before it changes. Some fantasy advice. Let's start with New York. You're not starting Daniel Jones. He's had a few good weeks, but I'm not comfortable with his supporting cast right now. Saquon is not right. ACL tears, they take probably a minimum of 2 years to recover from. This is his first year. And he does not look the same. Like last week, he only had one good run and a defensive lineman ran him down. So I'm sorry for those of you drafted him first round thinking you're going to get a comeback year out of him. I've never thought that. Just knowing the history of ACL injuries, like you're just not the same mentally and physically until the second year. So I'd still start him, but as a running back too. Not if he's your running back one right now, you're probably in trouble. But I'm still starting him. You could bank on probably some goal line carries at some point. Other than that, I'm not starting any other New York Giants receivers. I'm not feeling good about Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard in this matchup. I just do not feel good. It's mainly because the Giants have not drafted O-line prospects at all. And that's a problem because everything starts in the trenches with football. That's what happens. If you don't have a dominant line, it's not going to work. You're not going to have success. I don't care what you say. You cannot have an inferior offensive line. At Atlanta, I'm starting Matt Ryan. I'm starting Calvin Ridley. I'm starting Kyle Pitts, actually, in the flex as well. He's had a good target share the first 2 weeks. I know he's a monster, obviously. His physical talent's undeniable. So I'm starting all three of those guys. And obviously, again, take the points with the Falcons, please. And the next game, Ravens and Lions. They have the spread at 7.5 for Baltimore. Notable injuries. Tyrell Williams, wide receiver for Detroit, is out with a concussion. This is at Detroit. By the way, 73% of bets are going for Baltimore. I definitely would take that spread favoring Baltimore. The Lions are a dumpster fire. Let's just be honest. Jared Goff is not the answer for them. They will probably be getting rid of him in the next couple years. They traded Matt Stafford over to the Rams for a couple first-round picks. And honestly, they'll probably draft a quarterback next draft, and I would not blame them. In terms of the Lions stardoms, I would start DeAndre Swift, running back, in the flex. But that's as high as I'll go. Will not start him as your RB2. I just feel like that's a little too much, considering Baltimore's defense. They're stout against the run. I'm not starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not starting Jared Goff, obviously. I'm starting TJ Hawkinson, though, obviously. He's seen at tight end. He's the number one guy, obviously, in this offense. I'm going against him this week, so that'll be ugly for me. a little stressful. But I'm starting him. I'm not starting their defense, obviously. So Baltimore, starting Lamar. I'm starting Tyshawn Williams at running back. I'm starting Marquise Hollywood-Brown, and I'm even starting Sammy Watkins in the flex. I feel like a breakout game is coming. For Sammy Watkins, and it could be this week or next, but he left Kansas City to be number one, number two guy. So I feel like there is a breakout coming there. And again, please take Baltimore in this game. I cannot stress that enough. So for the next game, Saints and Patriots, Mac Jones, Jameis Winston interesting matchup. The spread is at 3 right now in favor of New England. I would definitely take the points for New Orleans on this one. It's in Foxborough at Gillette, but I feel like New Orleans is going to creep up on some teams, even with Michael Thomas out. I feel like Alvin Kamara is going to have a great game. I feel like Callaway is going to have a great game for New Orleans. So I feel like this game is going to surprise a lot of people, and I know this might be a hot take, but I definitely feel like the Saints are going to win this game, and I would take the points with them. Stardoms, you're starting Alvin Kamara, obviously, and I would actually start Jameis Winston this week. And the reason I say that is because New England's defense, while it's really good in a lot of places, great secondary, I feel like Alvin Kamara is going to have a breakout game this week. I don't think that their linebackers can match up with him, so I feel like they're going to feature him until they're blue in the face. So I definitely think they're going to win this game, and that's a hot take, I know, but that's what I believe is going to happen. New England, you're starting Damian Harris for sure. I would even start James White in your flex. He is in PPR leagues only, though, because he mainly gets catches. I would start Johnny Smith, tight end, over Hunter Henry. He seems to have more rapport with Mac Jones. I'm not starting Mac Jones, by the way, even in 2 quarterback leagues. Not happening. Too early. They're not letting him sling it as much, so he's not ready yet, obviously. So again, I would take New Orleans, the points on this one. And okay, next up, Washington football team, not the Redskins, not the Redskins anymore, against the Bills. This game, the spread is 7.5 for the Bills. I would definitely take the points on this one. The reason I say that is because the Bills have not looked the same coming out of the gates this year. They did not look themselves in week 1. They did not look as explosive as last year. And I feel like teams are starting to find, out how to stop Josh Allen. Like, I know he's just a great talent. He's kind of like Herbert, 6'6", can run and everything. But there's a disconnect there between those two. In the accuracy, I've seen Josh Allen just sail a lot of balls in these first 2 weeks. And Washington, crazy good front seven. Oh my goodness, like their defensive line has they're all first round picks. Like, that is insane to me. Chase Young, Sweat, it just list goes on. So I think they can really rattle Allen in this game. So I would definitely take the points for this. Stardom's fantasy advice: Washington, you're starting Antonio Gibson, you're starting Scary Terry McLaurin. That is a gimme. I think you're even starting the tight end, Logan Thomas. I feel like he's had a couple good weeks. Taylor Heineke, you're not starting him. You're not starting Heineke. Don't get me wrong, that's a little too much. But I feel like Antonio Gibson's going to have a great day. It's going to be cold at Orchard Park. So definitely start those guys. Buffalo, you're starting Allen, obviously, even though I just went on a rant about him. You're starting Devin Singletary at your RB2 spot if you have him. You're starting Diggs. You're starting Stephon Diggs. Diggs family. Love that. Love them. So yeah, you're starting Diggs, and that's about it. You can start the Buffalo defense at your own risk. I feel like Heineke will surprise you. He's put up a lot of points against good defenses. Tampa Bay last year, that was like his first start of the season, and he dropped 25 points on them. That's impressive. That is impressive. So definitely take the points for this game. And that is it for that game. Dolphins and Raiders. Las Vegas off to a crazy good start, surprisingly. The spread is actually in their favor, 4.5 points. Did not expect that when I first saw this game, the start of the season. It's at Las Vegas. Tua Tagovailoa out with a rib injury again. Miami is in a tough spot right now. They did not get the quarterback situation right. They did not draft Justin Herbert, as I knew they should have. I knew it right when they made the decision. They should have drafted a quarterback in this historically great quarterback class last year, and they did not, which I don't understand. But hey, I'm not a GM, so I'm definitely going with Las Vegas on this one. I feel like they will win by a touchdown in this game. Miami looks weak. They are not the same team as they were last year, and they didn't even make the playoffs last year. But I think they were 10-6, and they're just not the same team. And Derek Carr, I'm a believer in Derek freaking Carr, guys. I'm a believer right now. Derek Carr is one of those quarterbacks that would have Dak Prescott-like numbers if he had the type of supporting cast. All Derek Carr needs is literally two legit targets. He has one in Darren Waller, of course. He is a freaking monster. But the emergence of Henry Ruggs III, that is changing everything, because he blows the top off defenses. On post routes, on fly routes, he blows the top off. So they're doing a little high-low action. Darren Waller's working short, intermediate routes. Ruggs is a burner. He's going far. Gruden is letting Derek Carr throw deep this year. And honestly, he has a great ball. I honestly feel like he will finish this year as a top 8 quarterback. And I feel like he needs to stop being slept on. So I would definitely go with Las Vegas on this one, 4.5. 78% of bets are going for Vegas, so feel good about that. Set it. Fantasy advice: you're starting Derek Carr, you're starting Henry Ruggs, you're starting Darren Waller, you're starting Josh Jacobs if he's healthy. That's pretty much it for the Raiders. Miami, there's not much to say with them. There's not many auto starts I have for them. I would start Devontae Parker in your flex, and maybe Jalen Waddle. Maybe, because he is becoming the number 1 receiver on this team by the end of the season. So again, take Vegas, 4.5, feel comfortable with that. So not much else to say about that. So the Jets and the Broncos are up next. And the spread is at 10 favoring Denver. Honestly, take the points on this one for the Jets. I do not feel like Denver is going to be explosive enough to get that amount of get that deficit. I don't believe that to be true. I don't feel like Teddy Bridgewater is an electric quarterback. So I feel like this is going to be a touchdown game. 54% of bets are going with that for New York right now. It's going to be cold in Denver in Mile High. So fantasy advice: you're definitely starting Cortland Sutton for Denver at wide receiver. You're starting Noah Fant at tight end. And that is about it, because Jerry Jeudy is hurt. You're not obviously starting him. For the Jets, you are starting Corey Davis all the way, and that is it. Do not touch any other Jets in this game, please. Zach Wilson just got off. He's fresh off a 4-pick game in New England. So obviously there's some growing pains there. We expected that. That's not anything new. But definitely expect some growing pains there. But again, take the points on this one. Take the points. So Rams and Bucks. My favorite game. Yes, so Rams and Bucks. Man, that is the game of the week for me. And for most people. The spread right now is at 1.5 for Tampa Bay. So with this game, this is actually a really tough call. Vegas is making it hard. I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this one. The only reason I say that is because of Tom Brady and his greatness, and he's a legend, of course. I just feel like even with the Rams D being insane, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, list goes on, Leonard Floyd. But good God, Brady, the man is on another level right now. He is spreading the ball out with ease. He's spreading it to Godwin. He's spreading it to Gronk. He's spreading it to Evans. Everybody's getting a piece of that cake, and that makes everybody happy. They're not running the ball as much as last year with Fournette and Ronald Jones. So in terms of fantasy advice, you're definitely starting Godwin. You're starting Evans. You're starting Gronk. You're starting Brady, obviously. Wouldn't start Fournette or Ronald Jones if you have them. Rams are very sad against the run, obviously, because of Donald. But the Bucs have a great pass block. They have great pass blocking on their O-line. Not as great run blocking. So definitely with the Rams, you're starting Stafford. Dak Prescott had a great week 1. Passing against this defense. With the Bucs, it's their front seven. It's their running backs. So you're not starting Sony Michel, Darrell Henderson, depending on what the injury situation is with Darrell Henderson. And you're starting Cooper Kupp. You're starting Robert Woods. You're not starting Higbee. He has not started off well this season. There's not much reported. Matt Stafford. You're starting Stafford. Again, definitely start Stafford. Don't shy away from that. He's going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks when it's all said and done this year in fantasy. It's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a shootout. I'm taking the Bucs in this game. This is probably it's the game of the week. It's America's game of the week. It's probably going to be the best. It's going to end up living up to it. So that's it with that game. The next game, Seahawks and Vikings at 3:25 in Minneapolis, and the spread was kind of surprising. It was only 1.5 favored for Seattle. I'm definitely going with Seattle for that. They're a far superior team. The Vikings are not the same team. They're not the same defense as 2 or 3 years ago. They do have weapons on offense, mind you, but Russell Wilson's too good. At the end of the day, when the spread is close like this, you go the superior quarterback when you're betting. That's kind of just been my rule of thumb. But Russell Wilson obviously is better than Kirk Cousins. Sorry for that breaking news. But you're definitely starting Russell Wilson. You're starting Chris Carson, who's had a great start. You're starting DK Metcalf. You're definitely starting Tyler Lockett. My goodness, like that guy, his deep ball chemistry with Russell Wilson is off the charts right now. And I can't get over like the teardrop passes that is just falling in the hands of Tyler Lockett. This is what I've been watching this past couple weeks. So you're definitely starting them. You're starting the Seahawks defense if you can, if you have them. Minnesota, you're starting Dalvin Cook, obviously. I do not recommend starting Kirk Cousins this week. I don't feel like that's a good idea. Even though Seattle's D isn't what it used to be, it is still a solid defense. So you're starting Justin Jefferson, you're starting Adam Thielen, and that's about it for the Vikings. Those 2 receivers are electric. definitely in the red zone. Thielen is off to a great start. But you're taking Seattle in this game, spread-wise. So that is an easy bet for me. And the night game, Green Bay versus San Francisco, Sunday night at Levi Stadium, Santa Clara. Spread is at it's at 3 favoring San Francisco. I'm not sure why that is. I feel like the Packers are the better team right now, definitely offensively. 67% of bets are going that way for Green Bay right now, so definitely take the points for that. It's going to be a close game, but I feel like Green Bay is going to pull it out by field goal, touchdown, either way. But let's start with stardoms for Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, you're starting him. Aaron Jones, 4 touchdowns last week. Bank on that production. Definitely in the passing game, that was really encouraging to see last week for Aaron Jones, because they had a very forgettable opener against New Orleans, and they did just kind of reset against the Lions, really. So you're starting Aaron Jones, you're starting Devontae Adams, best receiver in the league, every week, of course, no questions asked. You're starting Robert freaking Tonyan. This is Robert Tonyan's breakout year at tight end. He's a baby Kittle. I like to call him. Same number, same kind of style. So you're definitely starting Tonyan this week, even though he's going up against Warner. I feel like they're good at matching him up with who they're supposed to match him up with, a smaller safety or smaller linebacker. Either way, San Fran, the running back situation's a little shaky there. Don't know if Eli Mitchell is going to start. Don't know if Jermichael Hasty from Baylor is going to be there this week. You're definitely starting Deebo Samuel. He leads the NFL in receiving yards. You're definitely going with him. Brandon Ayuk, I would stray away from that right now. Just Jimmy G's not hitting him. Seems like a freeze out, actually, for whatever reason. But start Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. Obviously, those are the only two I would touch for this game. But again, go Green Bay for the points. It's a no-brainer. I feel like, even though it's in San Fran. All right, so last game here. How about them Cowboys? Man, I'm really looking forward to this game against the Eagles. Monday Night Football. Spreads at 3.5 right now for Dallas. I definitely feel like that's probably a fair spread. I feel like Vegas is going to be good on that. But I feel like Dallas is going to win by more than 4 points for this. I feel like it's going to be a touchdown, 10 points. I'm not as encouraging as Philadelphia's early signs of the season, Jalen Hurts and everything. I just feel like Cowboys are on a roll right now, definitely after last week's game, especially if they utilize Tony Pollard like how they're supposed to. I feel like him and Zeke need to be splitting carries right now, and that's pretty much what has been happening the first 2 weeks, more or less. Pollard's electric. He has a gear that Zeke does not have, as Skip Bayless said. So you're starting both of them. I would start Pollard in your flex and feel good about it. You're starting Dak, obviously. You're starting CeeDee Lamb. You're starting Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup is injured. He'll be out for a couple more weeks. You're starting those guys, and you're not feeling bad about it. Philly, I feel like you should still be starting Jalen Hurts. Definitely Miles Sanders. Gets a little shaky with the receivers. Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor are two up-and-coming receivers. I feel like they still have to develop that rapport with Jalen Hurts before, automatically starting them. But they are on the come-up. I have Reagor on my roster. Some all at TCU like that, my growing up. So, so that is about it for that. Some notable injuries. Dorrance Armstrong is out with an ankle for Dallas. Obviously, Dallas has a lot of injuries on defense already. DeMarcus Lawrence is out. Some player to watch, Micah Parsons. My God, he had a great week too, rushing the passer. So definitely watch out for that. Watch out for the Cowboys defense later on in the season. I feel like they've just been generating turnovers. They lead the league in turnovers right now. So definitely think about picking them up and go with Dallas to win by more than 4 points in this game. So yeah, that's about it for my inaugural YouTube video. I'll be doing this every week. I'll be doing videos during the week. Also, some about life, like I said before, some about social issues, some about, just corporate culture, relationship advice, all those good things. There will definitely be a splash of those type of videos on my channel. So definitely hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching this video. And I hope that you guys comment on this video. Tell me what you think about my betting predictions, my fantasy starting sit-ems. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time.